Good evening, everybody. Let me do that again. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out. It's a pleasure to see everybody. Thank you for inviting us into your home tonight. I don't see that red light on. Would that not be on no more? Up there it is. All right, let's do that again. Just rehearsing. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight, and thank you for inviting us into your home. I'd like to call to order Bristol Township Council meeting for Tuesday, October 20th, 2020. Please rise for the National Pledge of Allegiance. And,
saying something new.
you know, I get nervous up here all the time. Please remember your service personnel overseas, fighting for a great country, also in our country, and also men and women in blue, and also for our first responders. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you again. It's great to see everybody. Roll call, please.
President Bowen,
Yes.
Vice President Murphy,
Present.
Mr. Antonello,
Here.
Mr. Blaylock,
Here.
Mr. Monahan, Mrs. Wagner.
Present.
Before our township meeting started, we met with executive session.
Yes, we met in an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss personnel and real estate matters. Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Monthly reports are available for review in the Township Manager's Office. Public comments will be taken on land development and official action items. General comments will be taken during opportunity for residents to address council. Next, we have presentation appointments, but I'd like to move the agenda up, and it'll be pleasure board. We have under new business, we have a waiver of land development, and that's under 10A. I'd like to move that to 5A1. And we also have a land development under new business under 10B, and I'd like to move that up to 5A2. Pleasure to board.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Cindy Murphy to move the agenda. Second by
Second.
Pat Antonello on the motion. Is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. So next on the agenda, we have a waiver of land development request from Family Services Association for installation of 2 modular units for COVID-19 emergency living rooms at the homeless, excuse me?
I said, excuse me.
Okay. I thought I was doing something wrong. Emergency living rooms at the homeless shelter, 7 Shelter Way, Levittown, with the use of the Bucks County CARES Act Treasury funding. Consideration to take appropriate action. Oh, 1 second, could you push that button down? There's a oval oven. If you see the green light go on, you're on. Yeah. Is the green light on, sir? Okay, push it again and let go.
Green.
We're in. Green to go.
Good evening. My name is Frank Sullivan. I am a member of the Board of Directors of Family Service Association of Bucks County. I'm also corporate counsel. We're here this evening requesting an emergency resolution to allow us to install 2 modular units to the rear of Family Services Emergency Homeless Shelter, which is right off by the library at 5 Points. These 2 modular units are going to be installed in accordance with a contract that we have with the county to provide these modular units to house homeless individuals who are infected with the COVID-19 virus, as well in 1 unit, and as well as in the 2nd unit to house individuals, homeless individuals who are exposed to individuals who are infected with the COVID-19 virus. The funding for this comes to the county through the CARES Act, which is federally funded and is specifically for this particular purpose. Because of the nature of the area where we're putting it in the back of the homeless shelter, we do encroach 15 feet into the rear yard setback. So we're asking for the ability to install these two modular units on a emergency temporary basis. To the extent that there may be a desire to make them permanent, we would be coming before the council and the zoning hearing board requesting variances of any appropriate setback requirements, as well as meeting any land development issues. And also, if we were to install these, they would be installed, obviously, in accordance with all of the building codes of Bristol Township. So that's the reason I'm here. I'd like to introduce, if I may, our Executive Director, Julie Dees, who is very much involved in this project. I know for the record that we do have a county commissioner here, County Marseglia, who is obviously very much interested in having this project occur, because she is funding it, and we thank her for that. Be happy to answer any questions anybody might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Schroeder, is everything, it's a little different. We're working a little backwards here.
Yeah, we're working a little backwards, so we got to review the plan when it comes in, but in conjunction with Tom Scott, we'll review it and streamline everything to the best of our abilities to get them out of the ground as soon as we can.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
Scott, anything?
I have nothing to add now. I agree
Okay,
with everything that Mr.
great.
Schroeder said.
I'm more than happy to make that motion.
I need a motion. Motion by Patrick Antonello,
I'll second it.
second by Ray Blakelock on the motion about waiving land development. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Go up. Congratulations. Thank you.
Good luck.
Also, I'd like to acknowledge Diane, our chairman of commissioners here, Diane Marseglia. I know she was mentioned, but she's here in the audience. Good to see you, Diane. Welcome. Great to have you. You have to come more. Next, we moved up to waiver land development request from Bucks County for a community education center at Humphreys Park with the use of Bucks County CARES Act Treasury funding. Come on up, Di.
All right, take them.
Push that button down.
Still says green. So
Yeah, good, you're good.
Sound good.
Yeah, good to see you, Diane.
So I have a couple people with me. I just wanted to introduce the concept. Again, my name's Diane Marseglia. I'm one of the commissioners in Bucks County. And we were granted a substantial amount of CARES money to try to get Bucks County through this whole COVID crisis. And one of the uses for that CARES money is to help with education, and especially in areas where some of the students may have some difficulty with getting on the internet, broadband, and whatnot. So we are proposing to develop an educational center. It would go in, well, I always called it Black Ditch Park, but I think you guys call it Humphreys Park, right? So there used to be, I think, a trailer there some time ago. I believe it burned down, and this would be a replacement for that, but this is a really nice modular unit, and that's why I brought Bernard Griggs, our diversity and development officer, who can tell you, project officer, I always get that wrong, who can tell you a little bit about what it's like. And Demita Harvey is also here from No Longer Bound.
Oh, good.
No Longer Bound is one of the primary participants in this program. And then if you have questions for anybody else, it's here too. But Bernard, maybe you can say what it's
Mr. Griggs, good to see you. It's been a while. How
Good
you
to see
doing?
you too, Mr. President.
Welcome to Bristol Township.
Thank you for having me. And on behalf of the county, I'm here as the County Project and Diversity Officer, as the Commissioner just indicated. And we're proposing to build a 2,000 square foot modular building that will serve as the new education center at Humphreys Park that will serve the Bloomsdale Fleet Wing community and beyond to be able to have broadband internet, a place to go for educational purposes and so forth and so on. In light of the fact that a lot of kids can't go to school because they're either working home virtually or what have you, may not have access to internet. So they'll be able to go there to access internet and have a place to go for educational purposes. So the building itself is 2,000 square foot. It'll sit on the parcel of land where the old community center once sat. And we're going to put it in a way in which it'll have a driveway turnabout that goes around the complete building for easy patrol of the police officers of Bristol Township. And just looking to be a beacon in the community. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. The modular building itself is coming from a company called Vanguard LLC out of Exton, Chester County, and it's a state-of-the-art modular building. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Can I just add, the reason we're asking for a waiver of land development is that actually the money for this has to be used by December 30th. So if we go through the whole land process, we might not be able to get this up in time for the kids. And they'll also be able to have lunches there too, which I understand has been a problem. So as soon as we get that done, they'll be able to do that as well.
So what
Thank you for that.
what we're saying is if we followed a municipal planning code that Harrisburg sent down, would probably be 2 years. Okay.
Essentially,
Not here.
so we're hoping if.
Well, not here, that's
Not
true.
here.
Not here. Okay,
So we anticipate that,
yes.
And I also understand that there's, further development will go on at this site, and it's a county park as it is, correct? So there's some athletic fields there, and more programs will be available as time goes on, but it's, time is of the essence right now to spend this money in a really valuable way. So
So, Mr. Antonello, would you like to make a motion on
I
that?
certainly would.
We have a motion by,
Do you have any questions for any of the other partners or anything?
I was there Saturday. I kind of got a lot of the information. The council knows what's up. I think we like the idea.
yep.
Oh, very much.
We have a second motion by Mary Ann Wagner on the motion. Is there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Good luck. Thank you.
thank you.
Now we're moving back onto the agenda. We're at 5A, presentation and appointment. We have a presentation of plaque to Detective William O'Keefe upon his retirement from Bristol Township Police. And we have the honor of Chief Colton tonight presenting that.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me through this?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Council President Bowen and members of council, for the opportunity tonight to recognize the law enforcement careers of two recently retired Bristol Township police officers. First, Detective Bill O'Keefe. Officer O'Keefe was hired as a police officer on August 10th, 1993. He worked with distinction as a patrol officer until March of 2007, at which time he was promoted to the rank of detective. Detective O'Keefe finished out his career in the Criminal Investigation Division, retiring effective May 31st of this year. During Bill's tenure, he investigated all types of crimes, successfully solving and prosecuting homicides, robberies, home invasions, sexual assaults, and crimes against children. Bill was kind of known as our go-to guy when it came to the investigation of fraud and financial crimes. He assisted victims in the recovery of thousands of dollars of their own money. Detective O'Keefe was a reliable and resourceful detective who performed his duties with excellence. And I have a plaque here to present to Bill tonight. And it reads, presented to Detective William O'Keefe, badge number 28 by the Township of Bristol Police Department, in appreciation of outstanding dedication and service as a Bristol Township police officer, August 10th, 1993 through May 31st, 2020. Bill, congratulations.
She's like, no.
Thank you. Steve, come on up. All right, next we have Officer Steve Sinaki. Officer Steve Sinaki was hired as a Bristol Township police officer January 2nd, 1995. He worked with distinction as a patrol officer until he retired on August 13th, 2020. Officer Sinaki was assigned as a canine officer for the last 15 years of his career. He first served with Canine Ella, who he cared for upon Ella's retirement at his home until Ella's passing on February 4th of this year. He then served with Canine Nitas until they retired together on August 13th of this year. Officer Sinaki and his canine partners were cross-trained in patrol as well as explosive scent detection. Officer Sinaki, Canine Ella, and Nitas assisted federal, state, county, and local law enforcement agencies throughout the course of their careers. Officer Sinaki was a consummate canine professional, and he served with dedication to his community, and he will be sorely missed. As you can see, he moved on to other pastures, and he's currently employed as a Bucks County park ranger. So I have a plaque in commemorating of his service to the Bristol Township community, and it reads as such: presented to Officer Stephen Sinaki, badge number 73, by the Township of Bristol Police Department, in appreciation of outstanding dedication and service as a Bristol Township police officer, January 2nd, 1995, August 13th, 2020. Steve, congratulations. Thank you. Nitas.
N-I-T-A-A-S. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you again, Steve.
Thank you again, officers. We appreciate it. As a president of council, I regret the officers leaving, especially Officer Sinaki, but as a president of Bucks County Board, Park and Recs, I appreciate the welcome aboard.
That's why I wore my jacket. I knew you guys would freeze me out. Yours just wore short sleeves.
We're adjusting the air condition here. Thank you. Next on the agenda, introduction of Van B. Struther, Community Development Director. Welcome.
Hello, Van.
Great to see you again.
Hello, everyone. Good.
So I would like to personally introduce Van. We are very fortunate here at Bristol Township to have the expertise and the knowledge of Van to the township. He has been the Community Development Director in Abington for the last 7 years. He also worked on a nonprofit, in Bristol Township, so he's aware of Bristol Township. He is a licensed architect and one of the nicest, most respectable men that we could have join our wonderful team. So So I would like to personally introduce him. Everybody here has said it's been in the 6 weeks of working with him. He dove right in. I see portions of my desk again because I could hand off to Van. Everybody has truly enjoyed just a short 6 weeks working with him, and we look for a nice long career with you here.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and pleasure to come back and join. If you don't mind, since we're social distancing, I'll take the mask off so you can hear a little bit better. I'd like to really thank the township manager for his very kind words. We met several years ago. Sometimes we would go down to the HUD all grantees meeting down in Philadelphia, and her and Tom, and we would go out to lunch together. And Tom was wonderful when I was here at Interfaith Housing, I should say affordable housing provider. Tom was really wonderful to work for, so it was just a kinship that was really pulled together, and just happy to come back and join and be partners, with the township manager and the wonderful staff. And I'll have to say your staff has been wonderful, and they rolled out the red carpet for me, so very, very appreciative. So having said that, I would like to thank the governing body for supporting the township manager and the staff for doing wonderful work. I'm just happy to be here, and just thank you for the opportunity. So, we're glad to have you. Okay, it's mutually, very, very excited. So, having said that, we want to go into a presentation for you for the proposed community center that we've been working on. Oh, sure. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Ready to jump right in.
So next on the agenda, we have a preliminary presentation of the community center design.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, several weeks ago, there was a team that was assembled that composed of the executive director of the Senior Center, Bristol Township Senior Center, and the director of Parks and Recs, and the administration staff. And we started looking at the next step of the next phase of proposed building for the Senior Center. What we saw that there were three possible options for the potential building. The first option was to renovate and add an addition to the existing facility. The second option was to demolish the existing facility and put a new building. And the third option was to put a new building next to the high tension wires where the pavilion. But it quickly became apparent to us that the most effective, most cost-effective, most beneficial for the entire township and the operations was to renovate the existing facility and put an addition on the building, which is kind of a U-shape, in which we'll be getting into. And the reason why is we believe that was the most cost-effective. The existing building with the clear story span, to replicate that with today's dollars, it'll be very expensive. Also, the construction period time is shortened if you just renovate and just put an addition around. And also, most importantly, the senior center can continue their many food operations, the Meals on Wheels and the different food programs. That still can function during construction period because it's tucked away in a corner, so it will have very little impact. So that can still be in operation, supporting the great need and the service that they're providing to the Bristol Township. So on the board, you can see we have a schematic drawing, which in consultation with Parks and Recs and the Senior Center, we've wrapped the building around with a U shape. The existing building is in the center, and to the right is Parks and Recs, which they will support the wonderful municipal park complex which you recently completed. So now you have indoor spaces to have activities, and they would have their own entrance to the bottom right corner, if you can barely see the arrow. To the left of it is more of an L shape, where is the expansion of the senior center, where we're pulling out the administrative offices and opening up the big space, and the administrative office will be to the right. And we're creating a great gathering space, kind of like a big living room, so that when the members come to the facilities, it's like a hotel lobby where it's gathering and you're just hanging out. And for those that may not want to have congregate meals, there's places that have seating areas. Also, what we're doing is, on the exterior, we want to create a nice curb appeal. The building, with this proposed plan, the building You won't see the building as you see it now. We're going to be putting a face to it. There'll be a two-front door, and it's about curb appeal and how you approach the building. On the exterior, we have a gazebo and a pavilion to the left on a diagonal wall that's reaching out so that as you approach the building from 300 feet away, your eye is just automatically drawn to it and want to be a part of it. We want to create a space that is just inviting and where members just don't want to leave, just want to hang around and be around. So we believe that this is in the township's and the residents' best interest for the approach for the proposed new buildings. So, having said that, that's where we are. The next steps would, if it's the pleasure of the governing body to move forward, we will continue our due diligence and that we will interview architects for possible selection and continue to drill down and understand the different impacts to the cost of construction so we can come back and give the governing body more informative, updated information. That's what I have to date, and I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
It's way overdue.
Okay.
Everything else has been done, and that's kind of been hanging around, so that's great.
Yes,
The only thing I would like to add, Van stepped in and took over, and it's been wonderful. We originally had thought from CDBG money that we would renovate or build new for a senior center. Quickly, we've learned that with the municipal park expansion, and we will be able to expand Parks and Rec a lot with everything out on the field, and so the indoor space would allow for not only additional programming, intergenerational between the seniors and the youth, as well as it will be a community center that will be able to rent out, and that should hopefully cover operational costs, and as well as we'll be able to expand. Talking to the director of Parks and Rec, Jessica Fox, we'll even be able to expand, since we'll have indoor space and the outdoor space, even our summer camp program from 7 weeks to 10 weeks. So there's a lot we can do, and it's a great unifying development between the two seniors and the youth generation.
That's fantastic. I have a question regarding the time frame we're talking about. What is our time frame? What best case? What are we thinking, Van? Either one of you?
I can take that.
okay, good.
Again, he's been here 6 weeks, so
Yes.
we'll give him a break.
I got
tonight.
it.
We're looking at if we wanted to present to council tonight and get the go ahead to keep moving forward. Probably have architects selected by the end of the year. Working with the design with Gilmore and Associates to design it, to do a site plan for us, and then we'd be ready to put out the bid. So we'd probably be putting out the bid in early 2021. So hopefully construction could start in spring of 2021. I mean, that's very fast.
This coming spring.
2021.
2021. Okay. Another quick question. The other side, the left-hand side, is that additional space for the seniors? Is that how you've broken it up on the two sides?
Yes, the turquoise or the light is all for the seniors.
Okay.
And talking with the executive director of the senior center, they need more smaller group activities. And one of the rooms has a movable partition where that you can expand a room or have it smaller for more smaller, intimate kind of.
Perfect. It just allows us to offer more programs to the seniors and more programs to the children. It's in a real community center. I'd like to just ask the manager to speak to the financial impact, because I know that we're pressured by COVID, and as everyone in the country is, but that I'd like some reassurance that financially this is all a doable thing for us in the township.
I believe so. So just to add on real fast, so the programming on the left-hand side is broken out for the seniors, and then there's programming on the right-hand side for more of the Parks and Rec department. But it's also a point where we can rent out these small spaces as well. It's additional rental income, as well as both seniors and Park and Rec would be working together if they needed more space on the one side. So it's not fixed.
Got it. No, yeah, nothing's carved in stone. It's a flex space for everybody involved.
Right.
That's
So
fantastic.
the financials is, we have $3 million, we had $3 million in this year's budget, and obviously with COVID, we didn't do anything, we weren't moving forward. Now that it's expanded a little bit more than what we had thought, we're probably gonna have to borrow a little bit of money, to finish, to create the project that we want. And we're thinking, that the fire study is actually gonna be coming out in a couple weeks. And one of the recommendations and what we've always thought of is building a firehouse over at the Aspire building. So we'll probably bundle those together in another borrowing.
That makes complete sense, and we'll get in depth with that down the road. Thanks so much, Randy. Thank you, Van.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next on the agenda. Oh,
I think we
yes.
can all speak to
Yes,
that.
yeah.
Do I need to make a motion?
No, I'm looking forward to seeing, we're all looking forward to seeing more details, what it's gonna look like, cost, and that would be great, so move forward. It's
Yes.
way overdue.
Yes,
I hope we can
indeed.
afford it, because that's a little bit stuck in time compared to
I-
everything
yeah.
else we've been doing. Yep, thank you.
Van.
Thank you.
And welcome again.
Mechanicals alone are a lot of money.
Next, we have a public hearing and presentation of Community Development Block Grant Program 2019 CAPER.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now that Van's here, this will be the last year I have to present these.
I thought he was gonna present it. That's why I was like,
He wasn't here,
Okay.
so I couldn't do that to him. He wasn't even involved in 2019 program year. So as we have to present each year is the CAPER, which is the consolidated, I'm going blank here, but it's a 2019 CAPER for our HUD entitlement program, and it's, we're just going through the basics that we say at every public meeting that we have, is that this is a HUD-related program. We have our annual grants based on formula and entitlement, and the funds have to be used for national objectives. And the three national objectives are area benefit, which would be 51% or greater is lower mod income for households or families. Low income is 50% of the median income, and moderate is 80%. Another national objective is elimination of slum and blight, and a third is urgent need. So we have 2 requirements per year for public hearings, action plan, and the CAPER. In 2019, we received $602,000, $959, and we had 242,000. I think that's supposed to be 180, carried over from 2018. Our requirements that are held to a standard for the CAPER are a timeliness test, which you have to expend more than 1.5 times the grant, and we met that requirement. That's taken at the beginning of May of every year. It has to be low mod income benefit to households. All of our funding in the 2019 year was it's 100% low mod income. You're not allowed to expend any more than 15% on public services. Last year we had no public services, and maximum of 20% spent on administration. So going through our projects that we did last year, so it's a 2019 program year, which starts July 1st, 2019, and ends June 30th, 2020. So it's going with the fiscal year. We had some park improvements. We finalized Cedar Ave Park. We installed playground equipment at Hazel Avenue Park and Hilltop Avenue Park. We installed some extra cameras at Murillo Park, and we completed the construction documents and site engineering for JFK Park. We were able to assist 16 homes in emergency repairs for low mod income families, and we were below our administration cost. So highlighting the activities that we did, this is the new equipment that we installed at Hazel Avenue Park. And the new equipment that we installed in Hilltop Avenue Park. And in our housing programs, we, like I said, we assisted 16 homes with roof replacements, heaters, oil tank replacements, sewer and electrical repairs, 3 for extremely low income, 8 low income, 5 moderately low income, with 8 being female head of the household, 10 disabled, 11 elderly household, 7 minorities, with a total of 16 homes. And these are the final, these are the items that are completed under administration, probably many more. But this is what Van does, with the assistance of myself and with Jill, and going forward, probably even more. So with that, respectfully request at the consent agenda that the resolution gets approved.
Thank you. Moving right along, we have the consent agenda. I'm going to read it off. Consider approval of voucher list and requisition dated an amount of $6,016,534,000. No.
6,016,000.
Yeah, thank you. It's a good thing I run a business, huh? $6,016,534.07. Consider approval of September 17, 2020 council meeting minutes. Consider resolution approving the Bristol Township 2019 Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, known as CAPER, and authorizing its submission to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. Consider a waiver of $165.50 building permit fee to Boy Scouts Alphonse Huber for Pavilion Eagle Scout Project. Consider resolution authorizing the submission of traffic signal approval forms TE 160 for Bristol Oxford Valley Road, SR 2029 and Cinder Lane Mill Drive. Consider resolution authorizing submission of traffic signal approval forms TE 160 for permit 61-0710 New Falls Road, SR 2006 and Bristol Oxford Valley Road, SR 2029. We need a motion of the board. Motion by Marianne Wagner, second by Sidney Murphy. On the motion, is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have ordinance and resolution. Resolution authorizing application to the 2020 PICO Green Region Open Space Program for the Fruit Tree Gleaning Pilot Program project. You want to make a little comment on that? Thank you.
Thank you. Jessica Fox, our Director of Parks and Rec, and Andrew McAdams have been working together on this project. It's a PICO grant. They award up to a maximum of $10,000 each year. This is actually a pilot program, I believe, that it's a fruit tree gleaning pilot program. So it would be 3 parks spread throughout the township. And it would be Crabtree and Oak Tree Park, which is shown on the board, and then at Sarah Johnson, and then at Main Avenue. The request is to be able to submit the grant application, and then our match would be our Public Works Department installing the trees.
I have a question. Who will determine the specific location at the parks? Will Jess be the one that ultimately makes those decisions? Jess and Andrew?
And they discussed it already, working together with where they're proposing to put the trees in location of residence, shade, sidewalks, grading elevation.
Open space so it doesn't impact kids that want to throw a football in that area?
Right, they're all on the edge. Yes.
Got it.
They've
That was my
considered all
concern.
that.
Cool. Very good. Thank you. That's all I have.
And the township would be maintaining it after they've been installed.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Patrick Antonello. Second by John Monahan. Thank you, John. On the motion, is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have a report from Township Manager.
Thank you again. So we've been receiving some texts and messages that apparently Verizon is having an issue, and we're not broadcasting. They can hear, but it's been deemed that it's a Verizon issue because at Comcast and our live streaming is going out fine. So if anybody thinks that it's a township issue, it's a Verizon issue. So we can get in touch with them tomorrow and see what happened.
We can also, what's other ways that people can see our broadcast?
So if you go on our
YouTube?
township website, there's a link to our YouTube page, which was live streaming.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. So also I want to say, if everybody can notice, we are wearing our pink shirts today. Suzanne Murphy, who created the shirts, is actually in the audience. So we want to thank her for not only the beautiful shirts that you created, but the rush job, and we really appreciate it. And they turned out absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
So these shirts are near and dear to everybody's heart, and my heart as well. This is in memory of Leslie Colifrath, who joined our team in 2018. Excellent employee member, part of the team, as well as one of my very friends. And she passed away in January of this year from breast cancer. So we're all honoring her and everybody that has survived and is still fighting the good fight for breast cancer.
Thank you.
Thanks,
That's all I
Suzanne.
have.
Is that all? Okay, thank you. Report from Township Solicitor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So we have a big event coming up in a couple weeks here, Halloween. Is this better? Okay. All right. Let me move it a little closer. So we have a big event coming up this year, Halloween. Big one, right? No, I'm talking about the election. As you may have been aware, obviously a lot's been talking about in Pennsylvania with regards to the election, especially with the new election law that was passed earlier this year, as well as its battle through the courts. So I just wanted to go over a couple of things here tonight. The deadline to register to vote has passed. That was actually yesterday. However, a deadline that hasn't been passed yet is the deadline to request an absentee or mail-in ballot. That can be done until Monday, October 27th. And there's multiple ways you can do that. That can be done online, or it can be done by going to one of the county government centers. Obviously, the closest one here in Bristol is in Levittown, off of New Falls Road, right behind Judge Robert Wagner's courthouse, the Magisterial District Court. It's right there in the county government center. You can request a mail-in ballot there. You can also do it on-demand voting by going there. If you go to the county website, there's actually a way you can sign up and get like a time to do your on-demand mail-in voting as well, so you don't have to necessarily wait in the lines that I heard that were there yesterday. But with mail-in voting, if you do get your mail-in ballot, we are getting close to the deadline, so just know that it needs to be postmarked by the election day, which is November 3rd. That was just finalized by the Supreme Court. I believe it was last night. They rejected the case that came up from the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. There has been discussion about whether the new justice being added to the Supreme Court, something might happen again. But just as of right now, know that the deadline is for postmarking is November 3rd, and it has to be received by that Friday, November 6th, by the end of business day to be counted as a vote. If you do that, remember there's two envelopes. There's a security envelope as well as your mailing envelope, which you will sign. Put it in the security envelope first, seal it, then take the security envelope, put that in the mailing envelope, seal it, sign the back, and follow the information on there. Again, these ballots come with directions, so follow all the directions closely. You need to use a pen to fill out your ballot, black or blue ink. If you may request a mail-in ballot for the primary election, you should be getting one. There was an option to suggest or to request it going forward, not just for one election, so you could be getting another one even if you haven't done it again. Just because you requested a mail-in ballot doesn't necessarily mean you have to fill it out. You can still vote in person if you would prefer to do that on November 3rd. However, you need to take that entire packet with you. The mailing envelope that it came with, the instructions, the ballot, the secrecy envelope, as well as the mailing envelope, you send it back. And you take that with you to your voting place. You can turn it in, and you can cast a ballot there. If you don't do that, yes, you can still vote in person. However, that you will have you cast a provisional ballot if you forget your mail-in ballot. So just know there's multiple ways to vote between the mail-in, in person, as well as the on-demand mail-in. So that's what I wanted to bring to everyone's attention here tonight.
Okay, now I'm really confused.
Okay, what do you want to know?
I
Play
appreciate,
it back.
no, I
and then
appreciate,
slow
well, you know what's good? I can play it back. I appreciate,
Exactly.
that's a good public announcement. Thank you. Mr. Flagger's office, appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Is there any township business?
As for township business, no. We are
Okay.
doing well. We are moving along. We have a few, I should say, 3 more land developments here tonight, so
Yes.
we're good to go.
Yep, all right, great. Thank you.
Sorry, I do have one more item under new business. I just lost myself for a second. The board is going to, I'm requesting the board to take action. We did mail out our late fees at the beginning of the month for our real estate taxes, and we got an abundant amount of calls back that had, we found out that we put together that had saying that they've never received their tax bills and they've never, they've never paid late before. And it was letters K, beginning with the last names of K and beginning with the last names of L. Upon our looking at it appeared to be a 95% increase with K through L, K and L, of not paying their taxes as of yet. So with that, we have requested the county to waive their late fees, and I know council has said that they would waive their late fees too, and motion would be in order.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Cindy Murphy,
Second.
second by Patrick Antonello, and that's to waive the late fees for K to L. Any questions on that motion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Then we got to go to the county next.
Once we receive, we sent the letter requesting, once we receive a formal answer from the county, we will be sending out notices to all the affected residents.
Thank you. Moving on the agenda, we're down to 10C. We're in land development again. Application of AGP Group Management LLC requesting preliminary final land development approval to construct a 8,500 square foot steel building and add a 900 square foot addition to the existing building on a property located at 300 Penn Avenue, Levittown, tax parcel number 5-74-213, and an R2 residential zone district.
Yes. My name is Neil Sander. I'm with Independence Engineering. I'm the engineer of record for the Star Brothers application located at 300 Penn Avenue. We are here to request a preliminary and final land development approval. For the record, if you want my name in. Star Brothers currently owns and operates a light industrial warehouse that's a light manufacturing use within an R2 residential district. This was granted a use variance in 2018 for the use. There's an existing 6,000 square foot building which faces west toward the edge of the fire station. It fronts onto Beaver Dam Road and Randall Avenue to the east, with train tracks along the south side of the property. Star Brothers purchased the property in December of 2016 for use as an auxiliary location for their Feasterville warehouse. It was previously used as a bus repair depot for Lion Tours. Significant improvements had been made to the property in the past 4 years, including removing all the trash and debris, adding a new screening fence along Penn Avenue, along the north side of the property, and a significant decrease in nuisance complaints. At the time, the Agievs, the owners of Star Brothers, testified that there'd be no customer traffic, there would be no third-party rentals on site, all machine work would be done indoors, only pickup truck traffic, including for loading and unloading of materials, and no operations between 5 p.m. and 7 a.m. In addition, as I mentioned, there have been no nuisance complaints in the 4 years they've been on site. In the 4 years they've been there, they've developed a very successful business, and they're looking to expand their facility. We're proposing to add 900 square feet to the south end of the existing 6,000 square foot building, as well as build a new 8,540 square foot building in the southwest corner of the property. In addition, we'll be reconfiguring the parking and the stormwater system on site. We are proposing 23 spaces with 8 held in reserve to meet the requirement of 31. Next slide, please. The site is mostly flat, drains from north to south back toward the Amtrak rails at the south end of the property. There's also a sanitary sewer force main that runs along the south end of the property that makes grading in the rear difficult. There is an existing infiltration basin on site. Due to the expansion of the existing building, we're going to be reconfiguring that to include 2 infiltration basins along the south end of the property. The existing building is served by public water and sewer. The municipal authority has requested that the new building be connected to the public sewer through a new connection. As you can see highlighted there in green, where the 2 connections to the public sewer are going. It is about 16 feet deep in the street, so we shouldn't have a problem connecting. We also have received approval from Aqua Pennsylvania for a new water connection. We are currently having our planning module waiver reviewed by DEP. Next slide, please. On September 14th, we appeared before the Zoning Hearing Board and requested 3 variances. A variance for maximum building area, a variance for maximum impervious surface ratio, and a variance to allow loading docks on the front of the building. All 3 of those variances were granted at that time. Subsequently, in September, we also appeared before the Planning Commission, who recommended approval, conditional approval of this application to the council. Next slide, please. Now, we are requesting a number of waivers. I don't know if you want me to go through the list. Okay. Then,
Will they continue to not operate from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m.?
yes,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, that,
The new building won't match, the new building you're proposing won't match the existing building? Is that the game plan?
it is a standard prefabricated steel
Right,
building.
same colors, I guess, or, don't know,
Unfortunately,
doesn't matter, just ask.
I'm an engineer.
The only reason I'm asking, yeah, you know why I'm asking that?
Good answer.
Because it was a dump.
Yes.
And your client, the place is really first class,
It is.
you know? So that's why I was just like, it's just a great look to it. It's a model almost
Yes.
for other buildings.
Especially what was there.
Yeah. And this gives us the opportunity to clean up a lot of other things as well. You know, right now, there's a lot of gravel impervious surface mixed in with the grass. You know, there's even gravel under the trees. You know, we can clean some of that out and basically establish, more of a green space in the area that we're along the south end of the property.
Excellent.
The latest review letter received from the township engineer was the second review dated August 17th. We have been working with Samantha and with Kurt in the interim. I think we're at the point where we will comply with any of their remaining comments. We have received Bucks County Planning Commission comments and traffic comments. We have not received comments from the Conservation District yet, but that was deemed complete at the beginning of October, so we expect them within a couple of weeks. To wrap up, Star Brothers has been a member of the Bristol business community for the last 4 years. They enjoy being here, and they want to remain here and strive to be a good corporate citizen.
Kurt, any input? Township engineer.
There's just one of the waivers that we wanted to get some clarification on and some feedback from council. A lot of the waivers are customary waivers that we've seen in the past, but one of the waivers for this particular application is to not require the parking area, the existing parking area, to be paved. It'll remain gravel. It was a topic discussed with Planning Commission, but we just wanted to make sure that that was pointed out to council and that council didn't have any issue with.
Is there a reason for that?
It's currently gravel.
Right.
They would like to retain that gravel, minimize the amount of disturbance they'd have to do on the lot.
Okay.
So it's a cost issue.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
How big of an area is the parking lot?
The lot itself is about 1.4 acres, and I'd say the parking lot is, maybe 50% of that. So we're looking
Half
at
a-
3/4 of an acre.
So you're, I just want to clarify, so the stormwater management as the rains, it's, with asphalt, you're able to direct it better. Is it going to be directed where it's supposed to be?
Yeah, the stormwater management still treats it,
Breaking up.
the stormwater management still treats the gravel as impervious coverage, so that is being controlled. You know, gravel moves a little bit more because it's not rigid like asphalt. And they are proposing to regrade some of that stone in order to direct flows
Yes.
where it's intended to go. Thanks. So if council's amenable to the waiver, we would at least ask that we can field verify that there's at least 8 inches of gravel after the parking lot is regraded, just so we know we have a strong, stable surface. But because that was a waiver uncommon to us, customarily granting waivers, I wanted to at least get feedback. We've had, most new construction gets paved. This happens to be an existing parking lot, makes it a little different, but again, you know, I wanted to point that one out.
What's the expected lifespan of an 8-inch gravel parking lot with regular use? Anybody have an idea?
It's regularly maintained and it's not snowplowed into the ditch, then it could last
Yeah.
forever.
No,
But, you
trough
know,
traffic, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's only pickup trucks, so I'm
Right.
guessing that, you know, gross vehicle weight's going to be relatively low.
We're not anticipating any trailers.
Okay, so,
Kurt,
no.
Kurt, did you, is it, I mean, would it be, can we make it a condition that it always remain at the 8 inches? I mean, is that what you're saying? So that if at any point in time, if council's concerned with that, and that's your recommendation, that be the final point, then it should always remain at that level. You know, maybe an annual inspection or something, or an annual certification or something of that nature from the owner of the property.
Yeah, we want to make sure there's at least like a minimum thickness of 8 inches. And if it ever gets paved, you could pave over top of it. You could scrape off a little bit of the gravel to, you know, get the elevations back where the pavement would be and still have enough subbase underneath what's out there. What we want to avoid, and what we always try to avoid when you buy a property, you see a gravel driveway, you expect it to have a certain amount of gravel, and if it's just, you know, 4 inches now and they shave off 2 inches and there's only a tiny bit, you wouldn't expect that when you buy a property to not have substantial amount of gravel. So either way, we can condition it that it has
8 inches.
8 inches, it gets verified during construction, or it wouldn't be granting the waiver. The resolution would reflect that it would have to be paved per the township's design standards. Either way, we can make it work. It's really at the pleasure of the board.
I know personally that
It would just,
I'm not looking to prevent this project from moving
Right.
forward over the gravel in any way,
So we
shape, or form. So
add an addendum to this application that maintains 8 inches of gravel.
yeah, that the parking lot is maintained in a sufficient condition, you know, to not become a hazard or an eyesore to the township.
Stormwater
and-
management problems.
Yeah, all that issue. If we add that in, that we write that up somehow, I'm good to
Right.
go.
Well, I believe that's actually in Mr. Schroeder's letter.
Okay. Good, more's the
sure.
better.
Condition your approval on that letter.
So, great. So we need a motion from the board to move this project either for or against.
I'll make that motion.
Hey, I'll second that.
So we have a motion by Marion Wagner, second by Sidney Murphy on the motion to move this forward. Any questions? Not call to board. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
All right. Thank
Good
you
luck,
very much.
guys. Thank you. Thanks for staying in Bristol Township. Next, we have application of Civilian Territories, Inc., requesting primary and final land development. Approval to construct a 47,775 square foot addition and separate future addition of 1,060 square feet to an existing 150,716 square foot manufactured building on a property located at 701 North Wilson Avenue, Bristol, tax parcel number 5-77-002-003, and an M2 heavy manufacturing zone district. Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Frank Dillon on behalf of the applicant. With me is Heath Dumack, also on behalf of the applicant. You've just stated what the project is. We were here a couple of years ago and presented this project as a sketch plan, and we're now ready to move forward. As you can, Heath, why don't you point out the additions and what we plan to do? Sure. Here.
What do they manufacture there?
It's called Roburn. It's associated with Kohler Industries. They do, this is their high-end, sinks, faucets,
Right,
shower
got it.
heads.
I knew that name, Kohler.
The site itself is
For this now.
approximately 10 acres. They're looking to do 2 additions. One is for the employee cafeteria break room area, and the larger, approximately 47,000 square feet, is basically a warehouse addition and unloading and loading area. Along with the building additions, we've got 2 rain gardens in the rear of the property, supplemental parking, and an underground storm system in the front. So we were here last time, and there was one neighbor had a concern in the back about the trees. We addressed that. They liked it the way it was and wanted to remain that way, if you recall that. We've received review letters, and we've asked for certain waivers. The only one, and we've agreed to them, and they're in the resolution prepared by Scott, which we've agreed to, and I have a signed copy here to deliver this evening. There's one in the traffic engineer's letter which discusses a proposal to remove a railroad spur from their site. It was suggested by the traffic engineer that there's some type of railroad in the street in Wilson Avenue. It suggested that that be removed. The applicants contacted, I don't know if it's contract or Amtrak or Conrail, trying to get authority to do that. We're agreeable to do that as long as we're permitted to. So we will provide that information to the engineers and the attorneys when we get it. But other than that, we'd like to be able to proceed and provide you that one piece of information at a later date, committing that if we're permitted to do it, we will do it.
Okay.
So we're available for any questions.
Mr. Schroeder, any comment?
I have no comments.
It's detailed.
Wow. It is.
Okay, Mr. Dumack. All right, we need a motion.
I'm good with that. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Patrick Antonello and second by Sidney Murphy on the motion of land development. Any questions on that? Call to board? Oh, how about this? All in favor?
Sunny changed it up.
Aye. It's habit. Opposed? Thank you. Good luck. Thanks for investing in Bristol Township. And if any of the school board is watching tonight, you just got another major windfall of money coming into the school district.
That's true. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Good luck with Conrail. Getting an answer from
Yeah,
them.
I'm not holding my breath.
We'll see in about 5 years.
Not holding my breath. They'll charge you to remove that, you know.
We have application of Mike Spirito. Is that correct?
Perduto.
Thank you. Requesting preliminary and final subdivision approval for the property located at 1405 Miller Avenue, Croydon, tax parcel 512-433-001, to subdivide the property into 3 residential lots and an R3 residential zone district. Hello there.
Good evening, Brendan Callahan from Begley, Carlin, and Mandio here on behalf of the applicant. Our engineer is Mr. Dumack, and you summarized the project very well. We're requesting that there be a subdivision to put in 3 residential lots, one of which the client is going to reside in himself, and the other 2 are going to be sold. We're requesting that this be approved by the board. We received the review letter from Gilmore and Associates, and we had several waivers requested. Those were all recommended approval by the Planning Commission, and we received the resolution from Mr. Flager's office, which my client is prepared to execute upon approval of the board, and we have reviewed everything, and everything's satisfactory to us in there, so we're prepared to move forward.
Mr. Schroeder,
I have no comments.
another detailed plan.
Love when they come here without.
You know, you can raise your rates now. Okay, just kidding. All right, stormwater management, that's one of the issues we have in the area. Would you comment? Plenty of basins there.
So actually, this has been vetted, and it was a major topic that was discussed at the zoning hearing board. So stormwater management at this site is actually going to improve from what was there, but we understand that there's an issue there, and my clients can't fix everything, but it will be better than what was there. I'll let Mr. Dumack embellish on that.
Just into the graphic?
Yeah, it's that picture.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. That works. Might help to use this. What we have, the 3 parcels, you can see the heavy dashed line is the 100-year flood elevation location. We did receive zoning relief from that. Each of these lots will have, and it's not shown on this, has an extensive underground stormwater system to manage the stormwater for each of the 3 homes. Along with that will be associated grading along the sides of, and I apologize, Emily and Wyoming Avenue. My glasses fog up. That will help direct off-site stormwater into the existing storm systems on the side streets along both sides. And the proposed impervious will be managed by the ballast pits on each individual lot. The net will be an improvement in that none of this impervious surface will get into the downstream conditions. So there will be a net positive for the community and for this neighborhood. But we can't solve everyone's issues tonight.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, we need pleasure to board.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Motion by Cindy Murphy,
I'll second.
second by Patrick Antonello. On the motion, is there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Moving right along, we have other business. Is there any other business?
I have some business.
Oh, yes, you do.
I do. I have fun, well, we'll start out with some fun business. So Bristol Township Parks and Recreation is at it again. We have a Halloween parade. It's going to be on October 24th here at the Municipal Complex. It's this Saturday. Okay. Yes, it is. So we're a socially distant Halloween parade, so there'll be candy bags for the first 150 kids, and there'll be costume prizes for the most original, the best handmade, the funniest, the scariest, and the best group costume. And this is generously sponsored by the Browns ShopRite of Fairless Hills and Bristol Township Council. So the parade begins promptly at 11, planned to be at the amphitheater by 10:45. So there's additional parking throughout the municipal complex. We anticipate that it'll be busy out there. Masks, face covering masks, not costume masks, will be required. No pre-registration required, and it's limited to 150 kids, first come, first serve. Email J Brown, that's J Brown, at bristoltownship.org if you have any questions. So fun stuff.
Did you say this Saturday, this coming
The
Saturday? The
24th.
next Saturday we have.
The very next.
So it's coming up quick.
The very next.
Very good.
Also, on the very next Saturday, that again is the 24th, from 10 to 2, there's drive up and drop in, what do we call it? Take back. For prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs, pet meds, you name it. For a complete list of the locations, visit bcdac.org. We'll just tell you a couple of them are Lower Bucks Hospital, Keystone Elementary, and the Levittown Library. So again, that's this Saturday from 10 to 2.
The next Saturday.
This very next
Perfect.
this. Thank you.
Thank,
what I had.
thank you for that public announcement.
See, again, we have a lot we did today.
And we did. Next, we have comments from council members.
I would just like to thank our representative from Mr. Flager's office for his extensive commentary on how to vote in Pennsylvania. And it's
I need a flow
important.
chart.
Yeah,
There's a lot there. Oh,
But
yeah,
but
okay.
I want to reinforce the fact that I would hope each and every one of us and anyone listening or watching us tonight takes advantage of one of the most sacred privileges we have in these United States, and that's to go out and cast a vote for the candidate of your choice. Now, being a lifelong Democrat, I'm hoping that you'll cast your ballots for Democrats. Thanks, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Antonello. Serious note, Tom Scott, or Building and Planning, the big cheese, lost his mother a few days ago. So Tom, we're, thoughts and prayers are with you. We're all thinking about you tonight. What's that? Yes.
So she's gonna be very upset with me. So at the beginning of next month, Joe Mayer is going to be performing in a all-natural bodybuilding contest. So this is not her. Yes, this is not her first. This is going to be in Florida. This one. Yes. So
What does all natural mean?
No one is.
No
Drugs,
steroids, no enhancement.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the reason I'm mentioning it is because the diligence and the hard work and the perseverance that this young lady does day in and day out, with cardio at 4 a.m. before any of us are awake, doing a full day's work, going home and doing weight training, and then hopping on for more cardio, and the diet.
Jeez.
The
God
diet
bless you.
that, yes. So I just want to wish her well, and hope
Absolutely.
everybody else.
Yeah, best of luck.
Looking forward
Good luck.
to see that trophy. First place.
Regardless of whether you win or not, just
Yeah. Hey.
the effort, the participation is really impressive, and kudos to you.
Next we have, well, we don't have nobody that signed in, but we'll just read it to go through. Public comment on general agenda items will be taken at this time. Following Bristol Township Administrative Code, sign it with the secretary prior to the roll call of the meeting. Please be courteous to fellow residents and adhere to 5-minute limit. Public participation be limited to 1 hour. Yep. And there's nobody on there.
First on the list
Is there somebody on?
one.
No one, okay. So at this time, we'd like to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Aye. Vote? Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in a couple weeks.